They stabbed her in the back the day she trusted them most. She had stood shoulder to shoulder with them through brutal training nights so cold your bones felt like glass, mornings where sand and seawater glued to her skin like a second painful armor, and days where the instructors broke minds harder than they broke muscle. She wasn't just another trainee, she was the quiet shadow, the one who finished every swim first, who carried the heaviest logs without complaint, who pulled teammates from the surf when their strength gave up before their will did. Her name was Lieutenant Aurora Hale, but in the barracks they called her Ghost because she moved silent, looked colder than steel, and survived everything like she wasn't human. But even ghosts bleed. It started months before when the Navy announced an experimental inclusion program allowing a handful of women to compete for the SEAL Trident. Not a separate program, not a lighter standard, the real thing, the brutal pipeline reserved only for those rare souls who didn't break. Aurora was one of them, and unlike many, she didn't announce herself. She just arrived, passed every test, and made even the instructors raise an eyebrow. Her teammates weren't sure whether to fear her or admire her, but three men made their choice: hatred, envy, pride, the three poisons that rot warriors from inside. Petty Officer Briggs' broad shoulders and a louder ego than engine rooms. He decided early no woman should stand equal to him. Then there was Mason, slick, charismatic, friendly on the outside, but ambition sharp enough to cut steel, and Sergeant Wolf, cold, calculating, the kind who smiled only when someone else suffered. Together they brewed resentment like poison. They pretended to be allies at first, cheering her in runs, clapping her back after ocean drags, whispering, "We're with you, Hale." But loyalty in Hell Week shows truth when bodies are broken, minds frayed, and every heartbeat feels borrowed. She dragged two teammates through mud when they collapsed. She shared rations. She stayed awake, shaking, shivering, pushing, but they didn't help her when she stumbled. Wolf kicked more sand in her face, and Mason whispered, "She'll fail soon." Briggs laughed, calling her dead weight when she carried him half-conscious across the surf, but she didn't break, not when the cold knifed her lungs, not when every joint screamed, not when exhaustion blurred sound into white noise. She survived Hell Week, and the worst of them began plotting because failure would have hurt less than her success. The betrayal came in the Kill House training facility, an exercise meant to simulate real operations, live rounds, controlled environment, but the rules were clear: trust your team back, watch each other, lace every movement with discipline. The instructors watched, hidden cameras ready to evaluate tactics. Aurora moved like a machine, clearing corners fast, precise, quiet. Her cover man supposed to protect her flank was Mason. His eyes followed her, not the threat positions. Briggs stayed rear, Wolf center, then the breach call. 3, 2, 1. They moved, gunfire blanks hit armored walls. Aurora flowed room to room, then a flash. Mason's decision was faster than hers, a shove, sudden, hard. She fell forward, her shoulder smashing into concrete. Pain shot lightning, then a scream, gunshot, real not blank. A round ripped across her back, sharp, burning. She tasted copper, air freezing. She realized someone switched ammo. Live bullet in a controlled drill meant only one thing: sabotage. Her vision blurred, but her training didn't. Her hand snapped to cover, her rifle lifted. She rolled behind cover, blood warm, sticky down her spine. Mason yelled, "Fake alarm, she's down." Man, she messed. Team movement, blame twisted fast. He tried to frame her failure, but cameras never lie. Instructors stormed in, medics rushed her. She fought to stay awake, eyes locked on Mason. Briggs, Wolf. She didn't break. She memorized faces even as they pretended, shock, concern, innocence, but inside her a steel promise forged. SEALs never forget betrayal, they never forgive. Threats inside the Brotherhood. She healed slower than she wanted, but trained through pain. Watched those three still in program, thought they won, thought she'd be quietly washed out, but Navy doesn't bury truth when a warrior stands unbroken. Internal investigation discovered bullet swap, tampering, communications logs. The trio suspended, interrogated. They failed polygraph. Discipline collapsed, but Aurora didn't request discharge. She requested redeploy. She wanted the ocean cold silence back, not for revenge but purpose. She knew justice inside units took time. She'd let Navy handle punishment. She had her own war waiting. Months later, operational clearance granted, she deployed tier-classified missions, partnered with elite team men who didn't doubt her, men forged by combat not ego. Afghanistan mountains, hostile valleys, insurgent cells waiting like wolves, her team inserted at night, moon slicing sky thin like a blade, aurora lead point, silent breath, steady weapon tight on line, they hiked terrain, brutal dust slicing lungs, silence loud as gunfire, then ambush she sensed it, heartbeat twitch, breeze shift, ground whisper, she signaled halt. 3 seconds later, RPG streaked fire, dust rock erupted, but her call saved lives, they fought fierce, tactical precision, aurora moved through chaos, shooting with instinct, calm like storm center, insurgents fell, ground stained, bronze dust, her team safe, extraction clean, commander nodded, respect not spoken but earned. But ghosts from training return in most unexpected wars. Forward operating base, one evening, rotor blades thunder, inbound transport, she watched silhouettes jump down dusty ramp, 3 detainees in cuffs, heads bowed, feet stumbling behind them, escorts shock hit her like cold ocean water, Briggs, Mason, Wolf, dirty uniforms, guilt-stained faces dragged in, captured defectors caught aiding hostile groups, the betrayal path stretched far beyond training, they traded intel for promises, power or escape, they didn't know Aurora was there, they lifted heads, shock, horror, their sins caught up, she stepped forward, silent, calm, eyes unblinking, Briggs stuttered, Mason swallowed, Wolf froze, fear raw, exposed, she didn't speak, didn't need to, authority surrounded them, armed guards ready, they were finished, stripped, dishonored, condemned to military prison, while she wore American flag on sleeve, seal pin over heart, each step she walked past them was justice, hammer and victory, quiet as snowfall. War isn't glory, it's scars stitched with discipline, her career climbed missions, deep classified terrains, from desert heat to Arctic silence, she saved soldiers, civilians, allies, hunted threats before they breathed chaos, and every night when she removed armor, scars across back remained reminder not of pain but truth. Betrayal doesn't break warriors, it forges legends, they whispered her name among units, the woman who survived hell, weak bullet, sabotage, war, and still walked forward without rage, only purpose. Ghost, hail American, seal unstoppable, unbroken, feared by enemies, honored by team, trusted by nation. Years later, retired quietly, metal bars, heavy silence, still soldier heart, she trained next generation, told them trust like steel sharp, loyalty sacred, and betrayal worst sin in uniform, because battles are fought outside but wars are won inside hearts. She never hunted revenge, she let time, law, honor handle traitors, but deep down they knew, and every warrior who heard story learned this lesson carved into soul, never stab a seal in the back, because they rise, and when they do they bring truth like thunder. Aurora Hale walked away under quiet sunset, scar across back gleaming like metal earned not given, and world remembered. Navy SEALs never forget loyalty, never forgive betrayal, and never stop rising from fire like ghosts who never die.